agency that works with a variety of brands and businesses to help them sort out their strategies for growth. Aji is the expert in the house today, so he will be taking us through some examples, learnings from all of this time that he spent in the industry, and also, explain to us and all of you, how can we actually apply some of those concepts when it comes to your own business? So I'm going to hand over to him very soon, but just a couple of things from our end is that this is a webinar in the sense that he will primarily be presenting. However, we will have breaks in between to take questions from you, which my team and I will monitor. So there will be opportunities for interaction later on. So keep posting in chat. We will have some breaks where you can kind of speak up and you'll have a chance to talk to him. But without further ado, I want to hand over to Aji. I'm personally very excited about the session. So over to you, Aji, and let's have some fun today. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi, and a very good morning to all of you. I will share the screen. Is my screen visible? Screen is visible? All
yes.
Right. Okay. So perfect. Once again, a very good morning to all of you. So today's goal is to make you more comfortable with this whole animal called digital marketing. There are multiple ways that people look at digital marketing, but today we will look at digital marketing from a business perspective, that what should you make out of digital marketing for your own business? So that's the whole idea. We don't want to go too deep into knowledge. The reason is the knowledge is freely available on digital or on web. Google has their own academies. And in fact, I've given a lot of links for you to go through that. And that's a big advantage of digital, that most of the people share amazing knowledge on web. So the only thing that you want to look at it is what do you do with all of this knowledge and convert that knowledge to wisdom so that you can make use of the knowledge which is available in the market. And that's exactly what we'll do today. And I'll not spend much time on this, but still giving a quick highlight. Digital is significant. There is no doubt about it. And I think all of us agree. So maybe around 6-7 years back, I had to spend a lot of time explaining to people that digital is significant. But today, I think all of us are convinced that digital is significant. But when digital, you don't have to look at digital separately. In today's world, we always encourage people not to have two different teams, one called marketing and one called digital marketing, because digital is a part of marketing altogether. It should not be seen as a separate division altogether, because as a customer, I am offline also, I am online also. I might go and check certain product offline and come back to online and purchase, or vice versa. So as a customer, when I am a hybrid kind of a customer or an omni-channel kind of a customer, so similarly as a business, you should not look at digital as a separate unit altogether. And even we are a digital marketing agency, but we don't put digital before marketing. We put digital after marketing for digital markets. That's what we will put in. So again, I'm not convincing you on how important digital marketing is or digital markets are, and the volumes are available. And plus, most interesting thing is it's just not the volume, the amount of time people are spending on digital. And that is massive, because people will not live without digital. Now, when you are traveling, when you're doing nothing, every time you have availability to a screen, mobile has changed everything. And thus the time spent on internet is massive. And that's where the opportunity lies for you as well, that when your customers are online, why can't we utilize it? And the comfort on taking a decision online is also there, whether you're booking a ticket, whether you're purchasing something or taking a call on the B2B, anything and everything, people are very comfortable on taking an e-commerce decision as well. So altogether, there is volume. People are spending time. People can take action on digital. So why will we not use digital for our growth? Even in the B2B, because a lot of companies who are attending today are from a B2B segment. So even in B2B, today digital is almost 50% of overall spend. And that tells you that how important digital has become even for B2B. So from 2018, if you look at it, from 75% to now close to 50% is the drop of the traditional. And again, we don't fight between traditional and the digital. It is up to the the end user where they want to be. If they want to go back to the traditional, we will be in traditional. If they want to be on digital, we should be on digital. But the data shows that even in the B2B, digital is a very, very significant market altogether. So the overall conclusion from this is the digital is here to stay, and digital is very significant for your business. Now it's up to you whether you're B2B, B2C, how do you want to use digital marketing? And my experience working for very large companies to mid companies, small companies, the gap, because the big companies are struggling to get their priorities very clear because they have a lot of bureaucracy. Some people support digital, some people don't support digital. So in that way, from outside, it might look that most of them are very technically advanced, but once you start working with them, you will understand that there are a lot of gaps. So what that tells you is that if you are able to take the steps, there is a possibility that you can become far better than them in various segments. And in fact, I can give you a quick example. Is there is a company called Pharma Compass. It was a very small company. I think a team of 2-3 people who were running it. And pharmaceutical is a industry which does not require so much of marketing and etc. and all of those things. But they started it. Today they have become an India mart of pharma companies. Now, no pharma companies can survive without being on Pharma Compass. So that is how they, a small company, took an advantage of bigger companies not being active on digital. So all the SMEs, this is the best blessing that any SME can get. If you have prayed to God ever for any special powers, I think God has given you one special power, that is digital. Like any small company, mid-level company can grow because of the democracy which is available on digital. You will not get probably any other power to grow your business than using digital in the right. So spending time and learning about digital marketing will always help your business. So that's the first part of it. And taking some of the examples, if I have to look at it. So one company that you should certainly look at is WakeFit. So WakeFit challenged the mattresses industry in India, and they were only there on Amazon as their prime place of presence. And in Amazon, they got very good rating. They focused on the product. They focused on, now when I look at these, the big companies and the small companies, the difference is the big companies never educated their customers, and small companies educated their customers. They explained a lot. They use digital as a media, not only for promotion, but they used to interact with the customers, and they educated people enough. And because of that, people became very comfortable buying with smaller companies like WakeFit. And they were the highest rated product on Amazon. And right now, I think they have an amazing market share. And recently, they are valued at around close to $500 million. That's not a small thing in a mattress industry. Now they're expanding it to other areas altogether. So that's purely digital. So they did not start any offline stores. They did not had much of, even if you look at their advertising and marketing and etc. Only recently they did some promotional activities in a mass media perspective. Otherwise, they were always sales oriented advertisement that they focused on. And now that's one example. And the other one, for example, you can obviously look at Freshworks, which is a pure B2B company, started from Chennai, coming out of Zoho team and etc. Now they are valued at, I think, some $4.6 billion recently, got listed in NASDAQ. And most of their marketing, etc., they will all do digital, and it's a SaaS company. So you can imagine that digital will play a very important role for them, and it's a global market. So you go to any part of the world, Zoho, you will hear everywhere. It's an Indian company, started from Chennai, and they are everywhere. People are using it. If I talk to 10 of my customers, 5 of them are probably on Zoho, and not Indian customers I'm talking about. In fact, I was not taking Zoho very seriously, but when I saw international audiences taking Zoho so seriously, then we looked at the whole ecosystem. And that's the advantage, that they don't have to be present everywhere to interact with it. If your product has the value, and I believe India has the advantage of a semi-auto kind of a technical products where we can give support as well as we can create amazing product line as well. So, I mean, these are some of the case studies. In fact, I can take any case studies. As I gave you an example of Pharma Compass. So similarly, there are 2 companies that we are working in a very niche segment in B2B. One is called Origin Services, which is purely into services in the pharma segment. There, we are getting significant number of leads to grow their business. So that you can imagine that even in a niche market, and we are working with larger cloud-based companies like Cloud4C, etc., which are all multiple B2B companies. Everywhere we are seeing that the leads that you can generate can be very significant, and after that you need to nurture, and I will explain more about it. And similarly, the other one is API Dr. Reddy's, so which is again purely niche segments. You'll have some odd 900 to 1000 customers that you are targeting. From there only you will have to generate all the leads. So even after that you are able to generate significant leads. So can digital do good to any business? Absolutely fine. And even companies like us, like Indusnet or INT, TechShu, all of us have grown because of digital. And our, whichever countries that we wanted to expand, the major channel of marketing will be always digital. And in fact, I will take out some of the a mix of marketing sales when we go. But overall, again, the summary of this is that digital has done good to a lot of people, and digital will continue to do good for different people. It's only about you, how do you want to use it? Okay. Now, again, when you look at digital, don't look at digital as a element of it, but what you should look at the changing of environment, because digital or technology was a changing of an environment, that the world connected itself together. Mobile made it local, that wherever you went, you had mobile in front of you. So many companies like Ubers of the world and etc. came because of the mobile. So you should always keep watching, because the digital as one term may mean multiple, because technology is a part and parcel of every single thing that we are doing today. So don't look at digital just as one element, but inside digital, you'll have multiple waves that will keep coming. So you need to look at it as what is the next wave that will come in, which you can take advantage of, and you can become a leader out of it. So what can you see? I've just taken some examples, like all of this print, TV, etc. allowed you to have a mass reach, and web came in, and it was a global reach plus a very sharp shooting niche targeting that you could do, and very cost effective. You only need to pay for per click basis and etc. And then mobile made it very local and digitalized and etc. The high-speed internet made online training, things like this possible. Otherwise, previously, this was not possible, right? And I'm sitting in a different country, you're sitting in a different country altogether. So that's the advantage. But what is going to happen next? So that is something that you should keep looking at it. So one of the practices that all the companies do, I will not say all the companies, the best companies do, is that every 3 months, you should have a 15 to 20 minutes meeting with your team. Look at all the technological disruptions that is happening. And the way you should look at it is this technology disruption an opportunity or a threat to me in next 6 months, 1 year? If you can't see it, if you can't understand it, it's okay to leave it. But having that practice every 3 months with your team for 15 minutes can allow you to see whether any technological disruption can be a big opportunity or a big threat to you. So for example, when high internet speed comes up, whether something will change, something will become different for your own companies and industry. Like, for example, right now, blockchain is happening. So in the blockchain, how does that impact your business? If you can't see anything in the next 6 months, 1 year time, you continue to read about it, but don't be threatened and be worried about it. But this practice of revisiting all the technologies in an Excel sheet or in a list every 3 months is a very good practice for all the companies. That is what I will say. But look for new opportunities. And one big opportunity for sure is this, data privacy laws and etc. Because laws are entering into digital massively. So whatever you are doing, you need to keep watching whether, whatever your big competitors were doing, many of these things will not be possible. So is there any opportunity for you to make, anything that you're doing more law compliant? And for example, when GDPR came into the European market, a lot of product was sold that this is GDPR compliant, and it went to a different orbit altogether. So look for these opportunities is what I will encourage. And I'll get to the topic. Okay. And just again, before entering into the core topic of it, whatever you're learning, so please learn it like in a semantic tree. And nobody else is more qualified than Elon Musk to put this across, is that whenever we look at learning, so we go and learn the leaves and the small branches, etc. So he also puts it, learn like a semantic tree, put the big structures in front of you, and then keep adding smaller knowledge to it. So that's what he's talking about, that make the full node the bigger branches and trunks first, and then add small branches and leaves to it. So instead of doing random reading, you should also learn structured reading. So how do I do a structure and learn about the structure? Because that is how you can do fast learning and deep learning. This also needs to be practiced. And in today's world, this is very critical in terms of structuring and doing. That's exactly what we'll try and do today. And even when you're attending this session, so please don't get worried about learning something in deep. It's about exposure. That exposure should be enjoyed, and then go back, create your own structure, keep learning, keep improving your structure. I keep saying one thing: you can read hundreds of books, but you will drive your life using your own book. So if you want to drive digital marketing, you'll have to write your own book on digital marketing. And then learn from everybody and keep creating your own structures. Your structures may be wrong, but it will still be your own structure. And with time, that will get corrected. Okay, so that's what you should do with this session. And let's enter in. Okay. So this is the most sweetest definition I've ever heard for marketing. This is given by Philip Kotler. What is marketing? Marketing is nothing but meeting needs profitably. So if it is not meeting needs of today's and tomorrow's, probably this will not be the best marketing. And if it is not profitable for the business, again, this is not a good marketing. Again, when we talk about it, both from a short-term and long-term perspective. So when you look at again, the other definitions of marketing, you will see product, place, pricing, and promotions being in there. So product, pricing, place, etc. will meet your requirements, and profitability will be a part of pricing and promotions. How do you price your product? How much you should be spending for promotion? All of those things will be an integral part of it. So as I said, when you want to define digital marketing, just define it as marketing for digital markets. All this changing market that has happened, so you're just marketing for these digital markets, okay? And before entering into the promotion part of it, what we should also look at it is my product a fit, my service a fit for the current changing market. If it is not, no promotion can save you. So because the world keeps changing and they keep changing very fast, okay? So that's the starting point. The product is always the starting point. If I am given an opportunity, I speak very openly about it. I don't, the marketing in terms of the promotion part of the marketing may not be even the most essential part in the world, because that is something that can be done automatically. In the coming world, I imagine also an era where probably the whole ecosystem will promote the things by itself. You don't have to promote it. Maybe you'll provide it to a system or something like that, but product will always win over all the promotions. And in today's, when the visibility is so high, if your product is not good, it's never going to work. Okay, so that's why I keep repeating that operation people should be a part of your positioning, marketing, message, everything. So if the operation people don't feel for what you promise in the market, the marketing people can promise anything, but if the operation team does not deliver it, the whole marketing goes wasted. So that's what it is. Okay. And fundamentally, I will say that, spending time with your customer is 50% of marketing. Understanding business is another 20% of marketing. And all these marketing skills that we're going to talk about today is only 30%. So if you have even a smallest of the doubt that you're not the best marketeer in your team, you need to rethink. Because if you understand customers really well, if you understand business, you are 70% marketeer. And your team may know the skills of marketing, but they still may not know the customer. So as a marketeer, I still believe that I'm a good marketeer because I'm still passionate about knowing the customers, still looking at the innocence of the customer rather than saying, I know it all and these are the skills. Don't apply your skills without understanding the customer. So I will like to encourage you to spend a lot of time with your team, because you are the best person who understand the customers. You are the best person who understand the business. These are big contribution to the overall digital marketing and marketing. So never underestimate the value that you can add to your teams. Okay. So just before entering into the promotion, remember what I said about digital marketing was marketing for digital markets. And marketing was about this 4 P's: product, pricing, and place. So the first thing that you should do is before entering into promotion is look at it. Can your product change anywhere because of digital? For example, this is just an example that I've taken, which is easy to understand. This was that where people understood that the music and dressing can go very well. So what they did is all the clothes that they were there in the shop, they added a small RFID tag to it. And when you're taking the cloth to the dressing room, the music of the dressing room changes as per the cloth that you have taken. If you have taken a South Indian dress and going to the dressing room, the music changes to a South Indian music so that the feel of the cloth can come in, and just with a small RFID tag and an RFID server, that happens. So, the product remains still the same. That is your cloth, but the whole experience changes because of a small integration. So what you need to look at it, is there anything that you can do in your own product that can enhance the experience of the people, either at a product level or at a packaging level or at an experience level? So that you should ask yourself and see whether any innovation is possible at that particular level. Okay. The second thing, is, and whenever you do innovation, this is something that I should certainly encourage all of you to go through. And if you have not gone through it, that Christensen's videos and books about innovation, and the overall concept is that whatever product you are selling, what is the customer really buying? So that's the crux of the matter. If you understand it, for example, if I'm selling digital marketing, am I really selling business growth, or am I selling peace of mind to the customer that their digital marketing is taken care of? So different companies will have different perception about digital marketing. So what are you selling and what are they buying? It has to be very, very critical. And then that's a line that you should always remember. People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill. They just want a quarter-inch hole. As long as their work is satisfied, they're happy with it. So whatever services that you're selling, what job is it getting done? So that will help you to innovate it further. Why the customer is buying, what is the real reason behind the purchase, etc. So this you should certainly see in your free time, and that will give you a lot of food for thought for innovation. So when I talked about this product innovation or pricing innovation, anything, you will get a lot of interesting ideas from innovation in itself, that how do you innovate for digital markets altogether. So similarly, if you look at from a pricing perspective, there are a lot of innovations possible on the pricing because of digital. I've just taken a small example of it. In India, most of us know that AquaGuard is a market leader in water purifiers, and you can't challenge them very easily. And Kentaro and etc. have given them some level of challenge. So a Live Pure, which is not a very, very established kind of a player, so they have started two websites. One is Live Pure, which is selling all the products in the standard bottle, and along with this, started Live Pure Smart. And then Live Pure Smart is basically a subscription-based buying for various things like water purifier. You can buy a plan, no installation, no upfront money, and all of those things. And based on how much water you are consuming, you will be billed accordingly. So all of these things are possible. Why? Because of digital. Because you don't have to go and collect the money automatically, it will get deducted. A lot of hassle-free interaction can happen, and this can give you a different entry rather than the traditional entry. So can AquaGuard fight with you that easily on this? Very difficult. But these are food for thought for you to look at it, whether you are clubbing it. So there are multiple pricing models which are possible. So you should spend some time in understanding what all pricing models are possible and what digital can allow you to enter in with respect to pricing models. Especially if you are into SaaS and all, there are multiple pricing models which are possible. But even in a non-SaaS kind of a model, there are a lot of pricing models which are possible. So I'm just leaving it there. And plus place-wise also, you can look at any, it's a global competition, global opportunity. So don't look at only the place which is accessible to you, but look at globe as a competition and globe as an opportunity. So I'll leave it here with respect to, again, summarizing. Before looking at the promotion, look at what product, what pricing, and what place innovation you can do with respect to the changing behavior in the digital space, and then enter into the promotion part. I hope, is there any questions so far in between, Aditi or Shri, that I need to take?
Good so
Sorry,
far.
yeah, I'm sorry. I froze for a second. No, we're good so far.
All right. Perfect. So again, I'm just summarizing before entering into the promotion, because that's what most of you are interested in, is the overall, before entering into promotion, look at product, pricing, place, all of this innovation, and look at the changing behavior of digital and how you can utilize that for your own business. Now let's enter into digital marketing. So when I say digital marketing, marketing for digital market, and this is a framework that you should, and I've simplified it to the most possible way. So digital framework, if you look at it, it's just about a customer journey. A customer who is not aware of your business is getting aware of your business. Just awareness will not help you. They have to show interest in your business. And after showing interest, they will have a lot of questions that why should I deal with you? That's the consideration phase. And after consideration phase, the easiness in buying should be available. That's where convert and purchase happens. And after that, repeat purchases should happen if that is the case, or you should continue to increase the lifetime value of a customer, which is LTV. And if possible, get a referral out of it. So digital marketing is all about using this customer journey on the digital market. How do I reach out to more people? How do I create interest? How do I answer all their consideration question? How do I help them to purchase? So that's what digital marketing, a customer journey, can be divided into three core buckets. One is what is my reach strategy? Second is what is my communication and conversion strategy? That's my second. Or even in case of a B2B, I can also call it as a connect, because in B2B, many a times conversion happens later, connect happens first. So that's why the second part is conversion, connect, or communication. What do I do to take it forward? And the third is repeat and increase LTV. So if you divide your overall digital marketing into these buckets, how do I reach? How do I convince them with respect to my communication, connect, and conversion? And then how do I get more business out of them using digital marketing? Is these three buckets. If you get three buckets separately and understand where is the challenge with respect to your business, you will be in a much better place. And do all of those things keeping one metric in mind, which is CAC LTV. Are we profitable? And are we profitable or not? You cannot get it based on any other metrics. There is only one metric that can allow you to see, that is the CAC LTV. CAC is customer acquisition cost, LTV is lifetime value of a customer. Okay, and I will explain a little more about it. And the fourth part about this is you need a lot of infrastructure which is available, which is needed for getting all of these things done. So how do I create an infrastructure for my digital markets? So that's what, in fact, most of you have taken a assessment before coming to the session, and I've seen the scores, assessment for digital utilization and digital preparedness. So I think many of you are there in the middle. Some of you have not started. Some of you are at a later stage of it. And I see most of you are in the range of 100 to 150, 180 is the bracket out of 300 in total the score. So I think there's a lot of work that can be done at both digital preparedness as well as digital utilization. Okay, so I will go to the next section. So when you look at the overall the framework, which is the whole customer journey, where do I start? Should I start with customer segment or should I start with value proposition? That is a question that we always try and answer and see whether, because a lot of companies have a value proposition, they don't know their segment. Some of them know their segments very well, but their value propositions are not very well defined. So you can obviously start from value proposition or go to segment and then improve your value proposition. That's a to and fro that you need to do. Because, for example, if you are in a journey of your business and you have a lot of case studies for a particular segment, you want to freeze that segment and improve the value proposition for that segment. There is no right answer whether I should start with value proposition or I should start with segment. So if I am at the starting of my business, probably I will start with value proposition and find my segments. But if I am in the journey and I've done so much of work, I need consolidation, then I will go to segment and then improve my value proposition as well. Because everything starts from this whole business canvas in itself. Where do I go? And then should I go direct or should I use any of my partners to reach out to my customers is another choice that you will have. Okay, let's take some examples. If I am starting a new hospital or I'm promoting for a new hospital, then in this whole customer journey, my only challenge is to create awareness. If I create awareness, that I don't have to create an interest in a hospital. I don't need to answer the consideration questions. I don't need to simplify the purchase decisions for them. Only my job is to create enough awareness. If I create enough awareness, most probably a lot of people will walk in and bit of a consideration related, is it safe, is it good, etc. If it's a branded hospital, So my job will be look at the right type of an audience whom we should create awareness. And that should be my goal of marketing. I will not worry about campaigning, this, that, and etc. I will go plain, straightforward, create the awareness, and you will see that just with the awareness in itself, you are having enough walk-ins and your business goes up. Okay. Now, if I look at from an FMCG category perspective, just creating an awareness is not sufficient because you're not innovating something new. People are already consuming something or the other. So that is a pure communication issue, that how do I create an interest? How do I create a brand? How do I create an interest in my product is bigger challenge. Awareness is never going to be a challenge because, you take a random, you take a stone and randomly throw at people, that will be your customer because, it's general public. So reach is never a problem. Your communication is the real problem. Okay. What should I communicate to convert? So if you look at, hand sanitizers during COVID, that was when people had awareness, interest, consideration. Only the challenge was availability. You just make it available and people will purchase. So there can be various reasons, like if it is purchase is a difficult problem for people, in most of your cases, that will not be the case. And or if you look at Groupon people purchased, shown interest, everything happened, but repeat purchases did not happen. And thus they went from a $1 billion to $5 billion valuation. Now it's only few hundred million valuation is left in the Groupon. Not because people never purchased from them, not because they did not show interest, because people never repeatedly purchased from them. So that is where, so you need to look at it and see what is more critical for your business and where are you stuck. Are you stuck at the awareness level? Are you stuck at the communication level? What is the real problem that you have in your business? And the right side image that you see is when you work on digital marketing randomly or any marketing randomly, it's called pray and spray. Spray and pray, that you randomly do. If something goes in the funnel, it goes in the funnel. If it does not go into the funnel, it does not go into the funnel. So a lot of money gets wasted. So always it's advisable to plan it in a funnel manner rather than doing random activities. Okay. So what you need to ask yourself is, where are people dropping in your funnel? What is your real digital marketing problem? You should take a pause here and ask yourself that what exactly is your problem? Do you have a reach problem? Do you have a cost of reach problem? Do you have a volume of reach problem? Even if you're reaching people, are people not showing interest in your business? Or is it a consideration issue that people are coming to the website and different pages, but they're not considering your business, they're not converting? Or is it a purchase problem that people want to purchase, but it's too cumbersome to purchase? And because of that, people are taking a decision away from it. Or is it a repeat purchase problem or a lifetime value of a customer problem? Or is it a referral problem? So take a minute and think about it and take a decision. Take a call that where exactly do you think is the problem? And you can use the chat also and try and put it across. Where do you think is the real problem in your business? Is it a reach problem, interest problem, consideration problem? Any of this, the 8 items that I have added, can you identify where exactly is the problem in your business? Yeah. Okay, so some of you are saying it's a reach problem. I think volume of reach, right reach, absolutely. And in fact, that's something that we will go through. Cost of reach, yes. And sometimes many of this can be perceived. Okay, like for example, sometimes when we put advertisement on Google, a click costs us 50 rupees and a click on Facebook might cost us 5 rupees. And on LinkedIn, it might cost us 200 rupees. But end of the day, it's always CAC LTV. If LinkedIn might be even more effective in a CAC LTV compared to that of a Facebook, etc. Conversion period is not predictable fast. That's right. Okay. Yeah, so there are certain questions. What competition? Okay, so that's getting answered. Okay, reach and fact. Okay, thank you so much. So I can see that most of you are saying that reach, cost of reach is a problem, and then of course the next stage is right reach is a problem. So we will define that. Thank you so much. That's good enough. So we will go into, and even just a pointer that when you want to reach out to people, you can reach out to people either directly to the end customers, or you can go to a bulk selling which is like you can partner with somebody and you can pay the marketing cost to them and giving them a discount, and the big buyers, that is what we call it as. For example, if you are selling cakes, instead of going to the end customers, you can go to hotels and you can sell it at a discount, or you can go to different places like a car dealer and etc., where they require cakes on a regular basis instead of selling directly to the customers. Because whenever you want to sell directly to the customer, it's always going to be challenging. It's always going to be marketing heavy. It takes a lot of time to develop a brand and etc. Similarly, for B2B, either you can go directly to the customer or you can partner with people. For example, if I'm selling digital marketing, I can go to lawyers and I can say, anyone who is starting a business, we can partner and I will give you a 10% commission on whenever you bring a customer. So instead of spending that 15% on getting a new customer, I am spending that 10% on a lawyer who is going to give me referrals and I can convert. So that's the second, you need to decide that how do you want to go about. Some of the people have a consultant approach, which is the trade influencer methodology, where instead of going to the end customer, you go to a trade influencer who's going to influence. For example, in constructions, you have architects, engineers, interior decorators, etc., who influences the purchase. You go to them and you purchase. For example, when we are working for companies like Exide and all, so at that time we go to the mechanics who influences the purchase. So, in that way, or you can go and create resellers. You can do, even if you have challenge in terms of hiring internal team members, that also you can use digital marketing to attract the best talent to your company. And that should be a major activity for you this year, because everyone is looking at talent, and the best talent can never be acquired through Naukri and etc. It has to be attracted towards by doing right type of marketing in front of them, so that you become an aspirational brand for them. So think about digital marketing for your HR hiring as well. So all of these things are possible. And I don't want to, spend time in giving example.
Sorry, just sorry to interrupt, but maybe just before you move on, maybe if you can take a couple of minutes, the framework that you talked about, does that application change for B2B businesses in any way? Or anything that people need to be thinking about?
No, not at all. In fact, the journey remains more or less the same. Journey does not change. Only the buying cycle changes. So like in case of a B2C, my funnel, the whole buying cycle might end in a few hours to few weeks or few days. But in case of a B2B, this whole customer journey might take you 1.5 years also. So you need to keep the customer inside this funnel for a longer period of time. So on one side, when you have a digital marketing team, which is bringing this funnel to you, you need a team which is nurturing the people who are already there in the funnel. So if you are not good at nurturing, there is always a chance that you are missing out on the big opportunities which are available inside the funnel itself. You always feel that not enough people are coming to my funnel, but maybe a lot of people are coming to your funnel. You're not nurturing enough, kind of. Okay. So,
okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. And just giving an example, for example, we work with Tata Group and Aditya Birla Group and etc. So there in itself, it's like, the more we help them, more we nurture them, we talk to their HR teams, we talk to their sales and marketing teams. It's like, they keep referring you, they keep giving you more business and etc. The more you can keep those people in that phase by adding more value to them, you can get much more business from the same customer in itself, or the people who did not purchase from you can purchase from you at the later stage. So buying cycle is something that you need to be aware of. Yeah. And another thing that I can put it from a B2B perspective is, think about the whole decision making. Often a person who enters into this funnel is not the decision maker. So they need to take your message to somebody to make the decision. So do you have a PDF available? Do you have certain elements available where a person can take your marketing communication to their internal team as well? That also you need to see, because in a B2C, the customer in itself is making the decision here. Here it's a group decision. So how is your marketing communication helping in a group decision as well? So you need all the PDFs, documents, and etc. as well in place to take care of that. All right, so I'll move on. So you can use different customers, like in case of KFC, KFC has KFC franchisee, KFC.com, KFC career. So they've created multiple websites to attract multiple type of an audience. So you can decide what audience you want to focus on. Okay, so I'll jump straight into the reach strategy. So again, repeating, when you look at digital marketing, nothing but look at into these particular buckets. Am I reaching right people, enough people, right cost, etc., etc., communicating, converting, repeat, and all the assets that are required. And we are on the first strategy, which is the reach strategy. And in the reach strategy, the overall, the KPIs that I will be focusing on is, how to reach right TG, the right group, how to reach significant volumes, and what is significant volume for you. Because at times when I work with B2B companies, many of my team members says the total search volume is only 10 or 20 in a month. That is very low from a B2C perspective, but from a B2B perspective, that is significant volume. I will not leave that, because you sometimes require only 2 customers in a month, 3 customers in a month. So what is significant volume also needs to be decided, because when we work with some of the B2B customers, their initial requirement is that I need to generate 10 leads in a month, 10 leads in a day. So we ask them that, why do you need 10 leads in a day? And then we do a comparison, and probably they just need 1 lead in a day because they have salespeople sitting there. They always feel one salesperson's job is only to look at new customers, but the nurturing is something that they leave. So what is significant volume also you need to define, and what is the right cost of reach. So these are 3 things that we need to address in the reach part of it. So I will go straight here. So when you look at digital market, so you should look at it in these 3 buckets. Okay, so one is called BOFU, which is bottom of the funnel, where people are ready to purchase and they search in Google to find out a vendor. Okay, so that is called BOFU, or end of funnel. EOF is another word that we use. And another term in the B2B segment is used as called in market, that these are people who are in the market for doing a purchase. So what you need to look at it is, how big is this in market for you? And the way you need to look at it, so that's one is the end of market, or BOFU, bottom of market. The top of market, or the TOFU, top of funnel, is where you don't know whether they have an immediate requirement or not, but you know that they are the right audience for you. So how big is the right audience segment for you, or the TOFU market for you? And the middle of the market is a little interesting, often very difficult for a B2B customers. For example, for digital marketing, my middle of the funnel will be somebody who has recently raised funding. Okay, so can I target those people, because they will require a different digital marketing support in the next few months. So that will become my middle of the funnel. So if you are selling tiles, paint, and etc., if somebody is constructing a house, you should target them, and within 6 months, 1 year time, they will be buying a paint or a tile and etc. from you. So that's called the middle of the market. So who is away from, maybe 3 months, 6 months away from the decision making, is the middle of the funnel. So Google allows you to have such middle of the funnel targeting as well. And BOFU is end of the funnel or bottom of the funnel. TOFU is the top of the funnel, where we don't know whether they will purchase now or later. So our 3 markets very clear to all of you. One is bottom of the funnel, where they have an immediate requirement. Top of the funnel, where we don't know whether they have an immediate requirement or not, but we know that this is the right audience that we are reaching. And middle of the funnel is where they will be away from 3 to 6 months of decision making altogether. Any query on this? Clear? Okay. So, when you look at all 3 markets, and what you need to look at it is it significant for you or not? Okay. So what I'll do is, one tool that you should master is called the keyword research tool, and just write that term. And when you get time, you should just, search about it and get onto this. Okay, so I'll just show you one of the examples, or I'll leave it for the time being, because again, it's going to take time. Because whenever you go for a new IP, it will ask for a lot of things. But you should just write down, which is called the keyword research tool. And in the keyword research tool, you get exact number that how many people are searching for any kind of a keyword. So if you search for a particular keyword, you will get an idea about what is the number of people who are searching for that particular keyword. Is it 100 people, 1,000 people? So you will understand whether the bottom of the market is very high or not. And just giving an example is that around maybe 7 years, 8 years back, the number of people who used to search before buying a car was around 33%, where people used to search and go offline and purchase a car, and around 3% of the people used to search and fill up a lead on the website in itself. In 2019, that number stands at 90%. That means anybody who is buying a car always researches before buying a car. So that percentage becomes higher and higher because nobody wants to only rely on the salesperson, whatever they are saying. They want to do the research. So anything which is a high consideration, including the B2B, there will be a lot of research. So what I assume is that the bottom of the funnel will continue to grow on digital because more people will research and then select a company rather than thinking about, oh, these are the 3 companies I remember, so I'll go and do a business with them. So bottom of the funnel is going to get bigger and bigger on digital for you. So you should look at it, how big is the bottom of the funnel for you? And that is done by digital research, which is the keyword research. And just do a search, and whatever you want to learn on digital, the easiest method of learning on digital is just go to Google and search for beginner's guide for keyword research. And you will get a lot of any term, anything that you want to learn. Just type beginner's guide for SEO, beginner's guide for keyword research. You will get various articles on how to do keyword research, and just do Google tool. Keyword research using Google tool, they will explain everything. There are multiple videos available, free videos available, will take you through how to do all of this detailing, and very, very interesting data points which are available on that site. Okay. So you need to look at how big is the bottom of the funnel. And similarly, what you can do is you can look at how big is the top of the funnel. So top of the funnel, again, on LinkedIn, you have an opportunity to look at it from a sales navigator. You can see how many people are available, or I'm purely talking from a B2B perspective, or what I can do is I can go to the advertisement segment of it. And here you will see an ad segment, which is available here, advertising. So once you create an ad, you will also be able to see the whole segment. So once you get an opportunity, just go through any of these ad segments here, and then you will be able to get all the details. Just look at the audience segment of it. Again, not going deep into it because that will take a lot of time for you to go through this. For example, here, I'll just take any of these campaigns and all of this campaign creation, ad group creation, etc., looks very complicated from outside. But once you see any of this, action in real, you will be able to understand that how easy it is. For example, here we have taken some of the audiences. Okay, so which are the locations that I want to target, and which are the designations that I want to target. And in all of this, what you get is you get multiple options, which are like, I'll just edit it here. For example, here, if I edit it, any of this segment, I don't think I have the permission to edit it. Okay, in this category. And I think this campaign is completed. That's why I'm not able to edit it. But otherwise, when you edit it, you get all of these options. Always remember, you have an option to do and an or in all of these audiences. So whenever you do and, for example, here we have done this location plus these job titles plus the year of experience to be this, plus the company size has to be this, and plus this has to be from this industry, and also exclude anyone who is working in these companies. So when you do all of this combination, you have reached out to around 71,000 audience, which you want to reach out to. So you have made it so niche that this is the right audience that belongs to me. And there you have multiple ways of targeting people. You can make it as niche as possible. The second way of doing this advertisement is also, if you have a set of email addresses, you can upload the email addresses and do a custom audience advertisement that your advertisement will only show to these people. So if your salespeople are going to approach 200 companies, take up their email address or the company names and only reach out to those 200 companies, that even before your salespeople are reaching out to them, they have seen enough about your company, and the salespeople will interact after that. So before your salespeople starts, maybe 2 months before, you start your marketing, advertisement, and etc. for those people. So that's the reach kind of at the top of the funnel. At the bottom of the funnel, all of this keyword analysis, etc. will be available to you, and which you can do advertisement on that area. So is this, the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel clear. Bottom of the funnel is people searching. Top of the funnel is you reaching out to them using the right profiles, using the right targeting. Okay, so that is there. And in that targeting, you have multiple ways of targeting. The location, designations, all of this combination that you have. Similarly, on Facebook, you get approximately some 120 odd pointers. Like if I'm traveling from one country to the other, Facebook tags you as an international frequent traveler. If I'm using a mobile phone, Facebook knows it. Similarly, all of those different type of targetings are available on LinkedIn as well to target the right type of an audience. And second type of an audience targeting, which is possible, is you upload the email or you mention the companies that these are the companies that I want to put advertisement for. That's called either an ABM, account-based marketing, or it's called custom audience, that based on my custom audience, only show the advertisement to those people. So different type of targeting is available on the top of the funnel, and on the bottom of the funnel, I will take you through further on this. Okay. Is it clear with all of us? Okay, so I'll finish it off and then I'll stop for a call on that. So when you do the whole funnel part of it as well, so in the funnel, what you have is you have a marketing team and a sales team that is coming through. So marketing team's job is primarily to just create the interest and consideration, to a bit of a consideration, but not beyond that. And then the handshake happens between marketing teams and sales team. So you need to decide what is the job of a marketing team. For example, when I go for international events, so the job of the marketing team is only to create enough interest so that they are ready to meet me. That's it. They don't have to sell. They don't have to do anything. It just create enough interest, and then the handshake will happen with the sales team, and sales team will take it over. So that is something that you need to define. What's the job of the marketing team, up to what level you want to look at it. And there will be multiple indicators in that, in terms of when you are reaching out, what is my cost of reach, CTR means whether my ads are showing interest, people are showing interest in my advertisement or not. You will look at what percentage of people who are coming to your website are connecting with you. So multiple indicators are available. So these indicators will tell you where is the problem in your funnel. So if you're reaching out to enough people, if your cost is right, is showing right interest, is showing right type of conversion, and across the funnel, you can look at it based on different type of indicators. And then you will understand that, okay, where is the real problem? The real problem may be that my cost of lead is very high. The real problem may be lead to sales is very high. All of those kind of sections will be available to you. And then you can take that area, which is a problem area, and solve it. Rather than solving a big problem called digital marketing, solve that specific area, and that will take care of it. And in order to do this, you need to integrate your CRM with your marketing platforms like Google, Facebook, etc. You need to integrate these two things together. So that's where these indicators will help you. And these indicators are only possible if you have integrated your CRM with your marketing panels altogether. Okay. And then, as I said, all of this thing, the final goal is to look at CAC LTV. If your CAC LTV is right in the target, and what is the right CAC LTV for different type of industries, it's different. So for example, here, I've taken some examples from different segments, like in case of B2B also, that will be in the range of anywhere between a 10 to 15% will be the range that is okay. But if you are in the 5 to 10% range, absolutely fantastic. Like in our case, we are in the 4.5, 4.6% or something like that. But even if it goes to 50, so in a service industry in B2B, generally we say that, you will have a margin of around 25 to 30%. So you'll have a marketing cost of around 15 to 20%. So you know that you can spend total marketing budget between 15 to 20%. So that's what you will be spending. So you'll have to divide that budget into marketing and sales differently. So marketing might take 5 to 10% of your overall budget, and sales might take another 10 to 15% of your budget. So if you're doing an advertisement, you need to look at it whether it falls under sales or it falls under marketing. Marketing means that I'm creating awareness, etc., not expecting any sales in the current financial year. And sales means I'm expecting a sales in this sales related activity, that I'm expecting a sales in this financial year at least. So that's what the difference between a marketing budget and a sales budget is. And you can calculate the complete funnel. What is your expectation in terms of CAC LTV? And I will leave you with an Excel sheet where you can do this practice and find out how the CAC LTV can be calculated with multiple options. So you can do an optimistic viewpoint, pessimistic viewpoint, and find out what should be my base point. And finally, when you look at it, you can compare it with the market availability. So if the market is giving you a cost of reach at this, does this justify your funnel altogether? Okay, so if your market says I'm giving a 400 rupees CPC, but your calculation says unless I'm getting a 30 rupees CPC, it will not justify. So that's the balancing act between this. And I have a video about it, and this might take you 15, 20, 30 minutes to go through the CAC LTV, and I'll try and share a video on CAC LTV with all of you so that you get an idea. So different industry will have different the customer acquisition cost or marketing percentage. So in B2B, that's in the 10 to 15%, go up to 20%. So that's there. And the initial stages of your business, it can even go a little higher, and later it can come down as well. So that's the, from a reach perspective, how do you reach out to, with the right CAC LTV kind of a calculation. And what is in your hand is, in order to reduce the CAC LTV, you might want to look at different components. Either I sell more to the people, I reduce my marketing cost, I reduce my operation cost. So the disadvantage of digital is that people can contact 5 different vendors and get quotations much faster. So you need to keep your cost as low as possible around this area. Okay, so I'm leaving this part, and at the reach part of it, remember, I've just added some of the pointers. I'll be sharing this Excel sheet also with you, that how do you segment it and what are the channels that comes in the bottom of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel, there are 2 channels that will be prominent. One is search ads and the other one is SEO. Search ads is advertisement part of the search engine, and the SEO is the non-advertisement part of it. For example, if I take it here, and if I say, say like say, for example, digital marketing, or say executive MBA, if I search for. So if you see, the top part, which is the advertisement part, is called the SEM, and the below part, which is non-advertisement part, is called SEO. Again, when you want to read about this, you want to read about the beginner's guide for PPC or Google Ads, beginner's guide for SEM. And at the bottom, you just read about beginner's guide for SEO. My recommendation for all of this is always start with paid advertisement before going to SEO, because SEO is about scale, SEO is for long term, PPC and SEM is for short term, because you will understand whether these customers who are coming from Google is converting for you. If they're not converting, they're looking for a service which is very similar to yours, but if they're coming and not converting, you need to improve your conversion ratio, because your cost of reach will remain more or less the same. But what is stopping them from converting? Is it the competitors? Is it your messaging? If you can keep on improving your landing pages with various kind of messaging, you might be able to crack the bottom of the funnel. And if you are able to crack this, this is like a easy way of scaling your business, because whenever you need more leads, switch on the advertisement. Whenever you don't need more leads, switch off the advertisement. So in that way, you can scale at your own pace. So SEM, you should always start with SEM before starting with SEO. And if your SEM is giving you very good result, then you start parallelly investing into SEO, which will be a long-term strategy for you. Okay, so that's something that you should look at. And other things are marketplace listings. Like there are a lot of websites where you can get yourself listed. That's something that you can keep on looking at it and see that which all marketplaces I should get listed. For example, in case of B2B, the enterprise level companies will get listed in Gartners of the world, G2 Crowd of the world, and etc., etc. And smaller businesses can get listed in various other businesses. Sometimes India might make sense for some people it does not make sense. You need to keep looking at it, which marketplaces make, and for B2C, Amazon, Flipkart, etc., all of those things makes a lot of sense for them. So it is always between the SEM and marketplaces. It's a combination of this that will give you good results. Okay. And always, as I said, low-hanging SEO you can do, but otherwise don't invest too much into the SEO part of it in the starting of it. And similarly, when you look at the Google advertisement, so if somebody comes to me and say my Google advertisement is not working, it does not mean anything to us. Okay, what it means is, I can put advertisement for my own brand keywords. I can put advertisement for my competitor keywords. I can put advertisement for so many different keywords within your services. So which is working, which is not working? There is a possibility that for one service, you are converting very good. And for other services, you are not converting that good. So you need to look at it, which services are converting good, which services are not converting. Okay. So don't look at from a holistic perspective, look at segment wise that what is working and what is not working for your SCM strategy or a PPC strategy, and keep improving that. That's what it is. Okay. And in that whole area, look at it. What is stopping people from not converting? Is it some level of reviews which are in the market? And on the landing page, create anything and everything possible to give them trust and connect on the website part of it. If that happens, then you are through with that. And similarly, on the bottom of the funnel, generally you get SQLs, sales qualified leads, because they have an immediate requirement. But when you go to the top of the funnel, you may not get. You have two options here. One is I can knock the door and say, do you have a requirement? Do you have a requirement? So that becomes SQL for you. The second is you're not asking for an immediate requirement. You're saying, come and connect with me. That's called MQL, marketing qualified lead, where you will do white papers, webinars, add value in people's life, and they become a connect to you. And once they become connect to you, keep adding value and parallelly keep introducing your business. Whenever there is a match, they will do business with you. Okay, so that's where this top of the funnel comes into the picture. And in the top of the funnel, you have channels like LinkedIn advertisement or any social advertisement. You can do partnership in various ways in terms of emails and etc. You can go to any company. As I said about lawyers, you can go to lawyers and lawyers can send an email on your behalf. That can happen. And then you have multiple paid and non-paid methods. So in the non-paid methods, you can take a sales navigator on LinkedIn, connect with people individually, and start building a base for yourself. Again, don't do any sales when you're connecting with sales navigator. Just connect with people and then keep promoting interesting content on your own channel or on your own profile. And interested people will click on it, start interacting with you. You interact with them, but immediately trying to get a sales is not the way for top of the funnel, because you don't know whether they have a requirement or not. So thus going and pestering them saying buy from me is not going to be the best idea. Plus again, when you look at the top of the funnel, you have, when you put advertisement, you have multiple audience. You can say, I want to go to the CXOs, I want to go to the middle level, I want to go to this industry, that industry. So based on that, you need to look at it, which one is working for me, which one is not working for me. And there are times when you will get some very interesting things in the market. For example, in digital marketing, GA4 is changing. The Google Analytics is changing. Maybe that is a very good impulsive advertisement. You immediately go and do a sales advertisement on that. So you need to look at it in your industry. What can be your impulsive advertisement that can give you an entry at an SQL level? Maybe small entry like an audit, training, consulting, anything that can be there. And once you get an entry, then you do bigger sales out of it. Generally, bigger sales is very difficult to get in the first shot with an advertisement on the top of the funnel. Take a small entry, then build that, and then get a bigger entry based on that. Okay, so that's like, again, I'm summarizing the reach part of it here. Is in the reach part, you have multiple channels to reach, multiple segments within each channel, and all that you have to look at it. How big is the universe? How good is my segmentation? And what am I looking at from a cost of reach and conversion perspective? Am I able to convert? And start with advertisement, then go with non-advertisement. So that will be your starting point from a reach perspective. So this will allow you to reach enough people, significantly a good number of people, and at the right cost. And generally what I've seen is reach is never a problem. You will get very good reach at the very good price. The conversion becomes the biggest problem after that. So I'll stop here for a moment and take any questions before I enter into the next part of it.
Thank you, Ajit. Do you want to have a glass of water, catch your breath?
No, please go ahead with the questions.
Super, thank you. There are quite a few questions. So I'll direct some to you, but I'll also call on a couple of people to ask their questions. First, so this reach strategy that you've talked about, will there be like any significant difference, for example, if you're selling services in like, say like in IT, which is a fairly competitive space? If it's an IT solution service that you're selling, will this will anything change when you're kind of thinking about this strategy?
No, nothing will change. Your audiences will always change based on your company, based on the face of your company. So if your services or your product, your audience will be different. The segmentation will be different, and segmentation will be always different. Even there are two companies working in the same sector, both of them will have a different segment altogether. For example, I know a company which is into digital marketing, but not, so deep into analysis and etc. But their target segment is they're only doing in Africa, who are doing, travel for the international audiences. They don't understand English, and they go there and they're doing a very good business there. So the segment, even though both of us are selling digital marketing, but the segment can be very different because our strengths and weaknesses are very different. So that's about what is going to change, nothing more than that.
Okay. And so we have some businesses which may be a bit more traditional, and they've, maybe they've been around for a long time. So their funnel in that sense doesn't change a lot. So they may be like, we probably have like 7 or 8 large clients. Maybe the funnel itself to start with is quite small, and their customers have really not changed over time. And even if they went out into the market to get new customers, it would be literally like, so say 2 or 3 kind of. So how would you use this strategy and this, whatever you've talked about in such a scenario?
Right. And I say that the best time to marketing is when you don't need marketing. Okay. So when you really need customers, you can't just go there and, pressurize and say, I want a customer. So when you're very happy and your customers are already there, so what you do is you add value in the market. Because if you're a thought leader, you do more webinars, you do white papers regularly, don't push for any sales, but that will build the pipeline for you. And when you build the pipeline later on, when the rain stop and you have a dry run, and that's the time when these marketing or the brand value will help you. So continue to add value rather than trying to get a sales when you're already happy with your existing customer. And plus, using this existing customer itself, you can do some sessions or etc. and get some referrals, and that can be one way. Or you can do ABM. ABM is account-based marketing. So like these are the 7 customers that I'm really adding value to it. And based on this 7, probably the next 5 that I want is these customers. And just focus on those 5 customers and do advertising, marketing, value add, etc. to those 5 customers, so that in next 3 months, 6 months, you are able to convert those. Out of those 5 customers or 10 customers, 1 or 2 extra will come to your pipeline.
Okay. And so one question is around, so in what is there an ideal ratio in which you can use organic, which is SEO, and inorganic, which is ads marketing, in all of these stages, because that will impact your CAC, right? So is there any ideal ratio for that?
Initially, SEO is very difficult because SEO is, at least you require a 1 to 2 years of investing to actually generate the ROI. So your money will go this year and your returns will come next year. So my suggestion is initially invest 80 to 90% of your money into paid advertisement, get the sales and get the growth because of that. And then invest 10-15% into the low hanging SEO. And with time, you will start generating more traction out of it. And whatever I'm talking in general, but there are industries where you can do investment in SEO and within 3 months, 6 months also you can generate some returns out of it. So case to case, you can look at it, but always look at from a short-term perspective initially rather than investing for long-term. Okay. So SEO is generally a long-term investment.
Okay. And there were a couple of questions from Sonia. Sonia, do you want to go ahead, unmute? Because you asked about campaigns and also targets for SEO.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Aditi. So, the challenge that we face, and it's always like an ongoing thing, discussion within the team, is how often do we revisit the campaigns that are in motion, right? So is it like a set frequency on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, or how do we decide what's a good frequency to do that?
Right. So when you do campaigns on the bottom of the funnel, remember I explained about the bottom of the funnel. So bottom of the funnel, your customers are generally new customers. So there are campaigns which can run for years. You don't have to even touch those campaigns because that's a new customer coming in, seeing the advertisement, coming to the website, purchasing, and your messagings are generally direct. But when you go to the top of the funnel, you are reaching out to an audience with and another thing that you should look at in your campaign is what is the set frequency that you put in. A customer, how many times is going to see your advertisement? That is something that you can adjust in all the campaigns. So based on that, right, when you are reaching a saturation, saying that, okay, my audiences have reached, and with a frequency of that, then you change it. So generally, when if you are just an introduction kind of an advertisement, you should not have more than a frequency of 3 to 5. People will get bored. So the time people are reaching 3 to 5, change the messaging to the next level. And in fact, I will have certain things in the next area where I've added that you need to create multiple campaigns for multiple people into this. For example, here, if you see this campaign structure, you have a campaign for new audience who have interacted with your advertisement, create another campaign for them. People who have interacted with the second campaign, create another campaign for them. So in that way, in parallel, you have 3, 4, 5 audiences. So one person is not going to see the same advertisement hundreds of times, rather than they're going to see multiple advertisement in the whole customer journey.
Right. I think this is very useful. Yeah.
All right.
And just one more question, Ajay, and then maybe we can go to the next part. Unless you're going to be talking about budgeting later on, but there's a question: what should the digital marketing budget ratio for SQL versus MQL typically be for B2B and B2C businesses?
Right. So generally, from a budget perspective, what you need to look at it is, if you are a starting business, you should always focus on SQLs because you don't have enough bandwidth to nurture them, and try and see whether you can get from the bottom of the funnel. So if you can get from the bottom of the funnel, nothing like that. You don't even require anything. Like, for example, companies like us, even though we are into digital marketing and we talk a lot about marketing, but we are a sales driven company. We don't need to do too much of marketing because we get a lot of referrals, we get everything. So nobody even visits our websites and get converted from there, because most of the people will refer and will get the business out of it. End of the funnel. And whenever we require extra customer, we will just put Google advertisement and few landing pages and we get our customers. So we have the ability to generate around 300 leads from the bottom of the funnel in itself. So we don't even bother to go to the top of the funnel unless we require that kind of a scalability. So I will say, initially spend all of your money into the bottom of the funnel or impulsive advertisement at the top of the funnel. Don't do much of a brand building exercise or nurturing unless you feel that these two things are not working at all, and you will only have to nurture. And that's the ratio. And budget wise, I'll have a quick session at the end. But otherwise, I'll send you. I have a full video I think I've added into this in the reading material, where it's a full 1 hour video on budgeting, how to look at budgeting from a digital marketing perspective.
Super. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah. Maybe I can go to the other sessions and then we can take up some more questions on that front. Okay. So again, I'm repeating that the whole customer journey that you're looking at, one is reach. How do I reach out to the right segment at the right cost, with the right volume, etc. But generally, reach is not the biggest problem in digital, because it's just a matter of learning some techniques here and there with respect to Google advertisement or LinkedIn advertisement. And you can get hundreds of people in the market who understand this, and some understands really well, some understands not that really well. But if you spend 2 weeks in terms of learning about LinkedIn advertisement, Google advertisement, you will understand most of it, or Facebook advertisement and etc. It's just a matter of 2 weeks or 3 weeks spending time in understanding how to improve the reach. But the real challenge happens is, how do I communicate to them? How do I convert them? For example, if I'm selling a shampoo or a hair care product, I can't go there and convince them in one shot, because they're already happy with whatever they are using. So I need to take a frame of 3 months, 6 months to convince that person to buy my product. But I should not push them immediately to buy that product. Similarly, for your B2B segments also, you cannot just go there and say, buy my product, buy my product. So your whole communication has to be thought through for the whole funnel part of it. What should I communicate in the awareness stage? What should I communicate in the interest stage? What should I communicate in the consideration stage? What should I communicate this month, next month, the whole period when I'm interacting with these people. So communication is a bigger challenge, and communication is very, very difficult to solve in this industry as well, because people, we don't have communication agencies which understands B2B very well. Plus, communication has always been associated with mass media, which is like go to TV, go to print, do brand building communication. But sales oriented communication is not easy to solve. So that is where you need to create your own frameworks, etc. And I will send you a video on the frameworks for communication, because that will take a lot of time for communication framework, that how do you design for each of this segment. And I could not add it here because that will take a lot of time, but that's very critical for you to solve in terms of communication. So let's go into communication part of it. The first part that you need to look at it, digital allows you to do, communication at multiple levels. Your ads will be one touch point. Then you will have landing pages where ads can come to any landing page. So if I'm running one ad, I can bring them to multiple landing pages and try different landing pages as well. So my communication can get extended from ads to landing pages. Then some people will go to the website. Some people will go and read the reviews outside the website as well. Then they will talk to a salespeople. You can show remarketing advertisement. Then you can send emails, WhatsApp, SMSs, etc. using marketing automation. So you can see that you have multiple touch points with the customer. So don't try to, sell everything in your advertisement. Look at what is the purpose of the advertisement. Generally, the purpose of the advertisement is only to connect with the people and build the trust. In fact, if I look at an advertisement, connect line and RTBs, or reason to believe, or trust factor. These are two things. And I will give you a quick kind of tricks for you to learn from others also. So when you go to LinkedIn, like for example, I am on the Google Cloud page, and on the Google Cloud, when you go to post, under post, you will see image, videos, and articles and ads. You will be able to see all their ads which are live right now. So similarly on Facebook also, you can go to ad library. There will be on the left-hand side something called page transparency. And under page transparency, you can see the current live advertisement. So you go to 10 competitors, 20 indirect competitors, look at how they are doing advertisement, and you can learn a lot from their advertisement as well. All of these things remains in the public. So even when you put advertisement, your ads will be remaining in public. All of this started around 3 to 4 years back when Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them said we want to bring transparency. So any advertisement that any brand is running is available in the public. So that is such a big advantage for you to look at into that. But the purpose of the ad is, how do I connect with the people saying this advertisement is relevant for you? Second is, how do I make sure that they look at me and saying, okay, you are relevant for me as well. So that is what we call it as RTBs, or reason to believe, or the trust lines. That why should I trust you, whatever you are saying? Even what you are saying is good, but why should I trust you? Like, for example, we are working with so many clients, we are #1 B2B company or whatever, which will give that attention to people and saying that connect. So once your ads are connecting, they bring back to the landing pages, and then the rest of the work has to be done by the landing page and etc. So if you look at from a, then website will have some purposes, etc. So if you look at a landing page, one of the examples that I give is the MI page, which is easy for us to understand. Now, in this MI page, say for example, they were the people who started selling TVs online and etc. So on that normal TV page, you will see they just give the features, that these are the features which are available. So that features are just for consideration. But in order to create interest, like just go through this page, and it's a very long page. We call it as an A+ page. In that, they're doing anything and everything to create interest. Each feature is explained in detail. So even when you're looking at a B2B perspective, you need to divide between scannability at the top and detailing at the bottom, so that this page should create interest and not only just creating a answer for the consideration and etc. So this is like a very long page you should look at. You can look at Apple TV anywhere, and plus there will be an FAQ which will be available, which is answering all the consideration question. So between this page, which is creating interest and consideration, if this solves your problem, then people will move to the next part of it, which is purchase, right? So this you should look at it, that how your ads and landing pages, spend a lot of time in creating ads and landing pages in a proper way. And I've given a lot of links for you to go through this in usability, etc. For example, in this section, I have, whatever I've added here, this is from NN Group, where they have added a lot of articles which you can go through it on usability, amazing free articles. Or I've given another link for Hyper Element, where they have added a lot of usability courses again for free. You can go through all of this section, like where they have mentioned that people don't read the website, they scan the website, how even a small element like this changes the usability of the website, how, what are the elements that helps you in usability, etc. So those things are already, like that's a big learning. If you ask me, where are the top CEOs working today in the digital space, they're all working at the usability level. They're all working in the conversion level. So the reach level is solved in the industry because it's very easy to do, but conversion and the whole communication is difficult to get. So that's what everyone is trying to work and see what we can do more from a communication and conversion perspective. Okay. And when you look at the communication style also, you can have a direct sales approach where you can do, which can be functional in nature. So if you see this one, there is a functional way of putting advertisement that it saves you time, it saves you money, it does this, does that, and etc. There can be an emotional way of doing it. And then there can be a life-changing or social kind of an impact. And in B2B, what I am always suggesting is start with functional. Okay. Get your functional things very clear, and then try and see whether you can top it up with emotional, because all your Google advertisement will be direct, functional. And even when you're doing LinkedIn and all, you can be functional. Emotions, only when it's required you do it. In B2C, emotional is very critical because there is no big functional difference between one services to the others. And whereas you need to find what is the real functional difference between one to the others. Giving an example, when we are working with one of the B2B companies, they are into cloud and related things. We asked them what is the difference. So there was no difference altogether. But when we asked their customer, what is so different about them, then they told us that these guys, if you tell them to do anything, if it is very critical for our business, they won't even wait for a contract to happen, and they will make that thing happen, and then they will talk about money and everything, because they know that what is critical for me needs to be done faster rather than looking at contracts and everything. So as a CIO, I'm at a peace of mind when I'm working with them that nothing will go bad. And this, then we went to the CEO and asked them that what is that you have done, why this is happening. And they said, we give them a X amount of budget that use it for customers whenever they require it. Don't worry about the contracts. So then we highlighted that and taken some examples of the CIOs, etc., what they have mentioned. That gives a lot of differentiation in the functional level in itself. You don't have to create emotional level, but you need to find what is the core differentiation between your company versus others in the activity. And then look at communication style from value addition for MQLs, educate and share various kind of a knowledge, and achieve that whole communication throughout the funnel part of it. And I've given some of the examples also, like for example, this is a B2B company. And here, since they do not have enough salespeople who can give a demo, so their owner in itself has created a demo section so that whenever we are dealing with it, and if somebody wants to know more details about it, just go to demo.zoconet.com and get the first level of interaction. Then the salespeople take it over. So you can also look at it, whatever your gaps are inside your company, because a lot of salespeople screws it up as well, because they don't give the right picture to the community. You have done a good communication, generated the lead, but when the salespeople are talking and everything goes down. So there you can also have different elements before the salespeople also enter in. So don't leave it at leads. Even from leads to sales, there are many marketing elements that you can add to it, which can help you in converting more of the customers related activities. Okay, so that's and I've shown you some of the advertisement related things. I'll not go deeper into it. Again, I'm repeating that in the communication and landing pages, please don't leave it for your team. Nobody can understand that better than you. You understand the customer. So think very logical. And if you have to spend some time with your team, spend your time here. Don't spend time in looking at the campaign and structure and everything. So just ask them this question: how do you know that the right customer are coming to my web page? And how do you know that this is the right cost? And how do you know that significant people can come to my page? If they can answer these three questions, leave the reach part of them to them. And then you focus on this part of messaging and etc., because you will know better. And once you create those landing pages in multiple ways, you will get your conversions in the right manner. And again, when you look at communication, spend some time in understanding communication, how all of this communication that you're doing can be looked at coming from one factory. So which is like, how do you look at your positioning, how each of the element that you're communicating can be coming together kind of a thing. And when I say positioning, it's not exactly a positioning like in the B2C, but in a, one, for example, in digital marketing, we talk about maturity, clarity, and high performance. So that's our current position. And we'll focus on that. Maybe around 3 years back, it was 360-degree digital marketing. Now everybody does it. So what is it, that one liner that you want to keep on harping upon so that people know that if I have to deal with them, why I should deal with them, along with all these scattered advertisement that you're going to do. And in digital, extendability is a key. Like this is a very good example that I take, is that when German Rail wanted to do advertisement, so they took the example that if you are traveling inside Germany, these are places that you can see in 19 euros, which is comparable with anywhere you will travel in the world. They use Google Images to find similar images, not one image, but multiple images. So everywhere, wherever you went, you saw this advertisement everywhere. So this is so extendable. So you need to look at it. What can you do to create extendable advertisement, not just one advertisement? So all these advertisements should look like coming from one group, so that it creates that recall factor and it creates that push. So it's like you should imagine that a person is standing firm and you need to hit that person 20 times to make them fall for your product. So if you keep hitting them from multiple directions, it will not work. So you have to hit from one direction. So that is why your focus advertisement has to be very, very good. So that's where the marketing, the whole messaging has to be properly well thought of. And again, read more about usability. I've given enough link about usability, so I don't want to spend more time on the usability part of it. So I will say build your communication for the complete funnel. Don't leave it just as an advertisement. So if people have clicked on your advertisement, come to the landing page, they should see a different communication altogether. From landing page, if they've gone and again they're coming back, third time they're coming back, they should see a different type of advertisement. So your campaign structure should allow you to have different communication across the funnel. So that's where I will leave this communication part of it for the time being. Any question on the communication part? And I will share more links with you to go through that. And in fact, I have created some of the videos on communication. I'll share those videos as well.
We don't have any questions in chat. If anyone has any questions, please do raise your hand. Akshay, just let me know if you can see any raised hands.
Okay.
I have none yet.
Yeah, so generally, like when you create advertisement for yourself, this is kind of a messaging framework. You look at all the possible components that you can add in your marketing message, and then you see which part of the journey this is going to be useful, and what will be the impact of it. Impact wise, whether it's going to be a big impact, in which location it will create an impact. So this is called a starting point of messaging framework. If you don't have a messaging framework, you are creating advertisement randomly. So this will help you to identify, I keep saying the bigger the villain, the bigger the hero. So if you can identify the big pain points in the customer's life, your messaging can be around that. Like for example, in Indigo, on time is a much bigger villain to address. Right now, they have a clean and lean machine, which does not connect with us because clean and lean is not the bigger villain points in our life. Okay. On time is a bigger villain. So bigger villain, bigger hero. You cannot be a Superman or a superhero without having a super villain. So identify the super villain problems in their customer's life to come up with a communication which can address that. So this kind of a list will help you in addressing that. Okay. Yeah, so I'll then jump on to the last section and then we'll stay for the rest of the questions and etc.
Sure.
Okay, so from a communication, again, I'm repeating that look at the reach, communication, go to the right people, significant cost and etc. Communicate it right and try to convert, and then try to get repeated sales out of it. So repeated sales and assets, I don't want to spend more time on this because if you see the whole customer journey also, as I said, that your budget allocation will be different for different people, different segment, and different phase of business also, it can be very, very different. So at this top of the funnel, you will always end up spending a little more because that's where a lot more people will come to your funnel. And then, middle of the funnel, when I say middle of the funnel, like re-engagement, remarketing, you need to have some budget. And then people who have also have taken some interaction with you can also be involved into that communication. But generally, what the mistake that I have seen is that most of the time our focus is top of the funnel, get to new people, get them into the funnel, get to the new people, get them into the funnel. Rest of the funnel is not being very well addressed with communication, advertisement, landing pages, offerings, etc. So if you don't solve this, then top of the funnel is always more expensive than the rest of the funnels being nurtured. So you need to keep squeezing the funnel to get the benefit out of it. If you don't squeeze the funnel with right investment there, For example, when you do a very good campaign, any big campaign that you do for branding, so that is just creating a big funnel at the top of it. But after that, you need to do a follow-up campaign to bring them into the sales funnel out of it. So remember that your investment, if you have 100 rupees to spend, don't put all the 100 rupees into the top of the funnel. You need to spend maybe 50 rupees in the top of the funnel. The rest you should spend into nurturing them and taking them to the rest of the section. So when you work with your team, ask them, what is my full funnel communication and full funnel investment strategy, and how much are we spending for increasing the lifetime value of a customer? Is that a problem for me? If that is a problem, what can I do to increase it? For example, a lot of people might take a very small service from you as a demo service, but after that, if they don't turn up, what do you do? How do you convince them? Because that is where the real money is. And a small change there can change the whole economics for you altogether. So this is just a sample that I've taken from a B2C client of ours, where it's for a jewelry client that we have taken. So different campaigns have a different budget allocation, and plus in each of the campaign, like for example, when I'm going to the new audience, I minus all the old audience from there. So such kind of options are available. So your campaign structure can look more like this, where we are saying that, okay, don't show this advertisement to existing customers, only show advertisement to new customers. Don't show this advertisement to engaged users, only show it to non-engaged users. So new audience will see different advertisement, old audience or engaged audience will see different communication altogether. Otherwise, you are showing the same advertisement. I'm so, I'm so, I'm so, and so, I'm so, and so, but that's not what they want to see. And thus they will get irritated with your advertisement rather than finding value in it. So digital marketing on the surface can look very simple, that all you need to do is run advertisement. But inside it, you have so much segmentation available, so many detailing available, where if you use it properly, you will really get benefited out of it. Okay. Yeah. So that's, from this section, I don't want to go too detail into that particular part of it. And on the infrastructure part, because LTV problem is not a big problem that you will get into, because once you have that, sales teams takes over it. But on a marketing level only, I will say that have a specific section for that LTV and keep thinking about it. What am I not doing from a marketing perspective for LTV perspective? Okay. And few tips we have added, like all of these good parameters for a customer, that when you are looking at whether this is a good customer or not, all of these things should be added into CRM, which we call it as a lead qualification methodology. So some people use something called BANT, which is BANT, budget, authority, whether they have the right time, decision-making power, etc., kind of a thing. So you need to define whether this is the right customer, whether I really need to nurture them or not, kind of a thing. Okay. And from the digital infrastructure, you need to invest into digital infrastructure to take care of all of those things, which is from a usability perspective, that is what users are expecting from your website, what businesses are expecting, that's the business goal. So you're always balancing between making simplified for users and also putting some elements so that we can also convert them, and then digital marketing related elements, then UI and communication related element, and technology. So when you're designing your website, so please don't design your website thinking it's just a design. It has to balance between these 5 things. So learning about how to design the website, how to select the technology. I'll give you a recent example. So one of our client was on a Adobe system, and they were spending around 3 crore rupees annually to maintain that. When we looked at the whole technology, we said we don't require so much of technology. We converted them to a simpler technology, and which does not cost them more than 15 to 16 lakhs in a year altogether. So from 3 crore rupees that they were spending on infrastructure, we cut it down to 15 to 16 lakhs, because that infrastructure is, there's no doubt about that, that is a superior infrastructure. But you don't need a rocket or a missile to kill a mosquito. So you need to see how much you are investing into infrastructure. Is it right investment or a wrong investment? And even when you're creating a website, it needs to start with information architecture. It needs to start with some level of wireframing, so that your whole purpose of the website has to be achieved. Don't just do the website, because website is like a mask. You can have a mask and be sure, like kind of a fake feeling that you're safe, but if you don't wear it properly, it does no good to us at all, right? So similarly, having a website is a fake sense that I am digital, but if it is not done well, it does not give you that kind of a value altogether. Okay, and different touch points that you will have on the infrastructure is one is website. CRM you should certainly have. CRM should have a very strong integration with your website and all of your marketing channels. So that's where strong integration has to be done. So because the sales and marketing integrates at the CRM level, ERP if you require any kind of an operation tool stack that is there, and marketing automation. So read about marketing automation. I've not covered marketing automation here because a lot of people will not require it in the starting phase unless you build the initial part of it, because marketing automation is less about technology, it's more about communication. So unless you solve your initial part of the communication, marketing automation does not help. And my experience with marketing automation has been, if I work with 15 customers on a random basis, out of that probably one will actually use marketing automation and 14 will buy and pay for marketing automation and will never use it. So because they don't have enough content to promote it, they don't have the whole methodology to look at different communication in a different viewpoint. And this as a last point is, when you're working with different teams, remember I told you about reach, communication, infrastructure, as well as the repeat engagement and etc. So different teams are supposed to take care of different things. Either one team will have the knowledge about all of those things, because the companies which have knowledge about communication generally may not be good at reach. People who are very good at reach may not have the good at communication. So you need to look at it. If you're hiring an agency, if you are hiring team members, why are you hiring them? Are you hiring them for reach? Are you hiring them for communication and conversion? Or are you hiring them from LTV and increasing the value of it? Or are you hiring them from infrastructure? So generally you require a minimum of these 4 skills to come together. So either some internal, some external, or it has to be one integrated section where you need to see that which team will lead. So whichever teams are there, you need to look at who will be your KPI owners, who will be your KPI supporters. If you have 4 teams working on it, none of them are KPI owners, none of them are the KPI supporters, then it never works. So that's what, good team structure. So I have a different video on this. I've shared the video most probably. If not, I'll share it again. Is that how to look at team structuring within your company or when you're working with external agencies and etc. to get it right. Because you might hire a reach agency and expecting communication from them, or vice versa. You hire a communication agency and expect reach from them. So those things will not give you the kind of a right kind of a this thing. And from a budgeting perspective also, this is a approximate budgeting. If you look at it, sales level, you can invest anywhere between 30 to 80%. If you're in the starting phase of it, spend 80% into sales oriented short-term activity. Even SEO can come into the sales if it is giving you short-term result, otherwise no SEO. Organic pull 10 to 20%. If you are very established, then you will go higher level if you don't have an immediate requirement. Branding wise, SMEs, I don't recommend you to spend on investing into branding, but you should have the branding elements, branding hygiene in place, because nobody, it's not easy to create a brand and sell it. You sell it and you become a brand. Okay, so that's where I don't recommend anyone to spend money to become a brand. I recommend you to get customers, satisfy them, and those customers will make you a brand. Just by spending a little money here and there does not make you a brand, okay, or does not create that brand recall. And on assets, when you're making a website and all, if your overall budget for a whole year is only 1 crore, don't spend more than 20 to 30% of it in the first year on infrastructure. And later years, it should not be more than 10% because you need more reach. And I've seen those occasions where people have ended up spending huge amount of money on infrastructure and they have very little money left for reach and etc. rest of the activities, so and so. And that's a approximate on the budget. And I have a different video on the budget altogether for this. I think that's more or less that. These are some of the examples. And remember, whenever you are talking about ROI, whatever you're investing, keep looking at it. Investment happens in the current financial year. For some of the things, the returns does not come in the current financial year. So when you look at ROI, you should always focus on what am I investing on? When can I calculate the ROI? So if you're investing in SEO, you require a 1 to 3 year horizon. If you're investing in website, you'll have a ROI split into 1 to 3 years, branding 2 to 3 years. Ads, you can get it in an immediate quarter, month and etc. So whatever investment you're doing and your ROI calculation has to be tallied upon, and then based on that, you can take it up kind of. I think I've covered some of the elements and I will just do a final summary of it from the, the framework in itself, that overall, when you look at digital marketing, please divide this into 3 parts: reaching, communicating, connecting, and converting, and repeat purchases. If these 3 things you are looking at separately, and try to identify where exactly is your real problem in the whole equation, and solve it one at a time. And if you feel that no, I'm not very sure about my reach strategy in itself, am I reaching the right people or not? Uh, then focus on reach. Spend a very small amount of money to benchmark it, maybe a 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees to benchmark it. Am I reaching right people? The cost of reach, volume of it. You get satisfied, then focus on the next part of it: interest, consideration, purchase. Then focus on the next part of it, because you will have benchmark at all of these levels and don't have to spend a lot of money initially. Spend for benchmarking. Once your benchmarkings are clear, it's very easy to scale. That's what I will put it across as the first level of getting into digital marketing and getting a good hold of digital marketing step by step. And I think I've covered some of the pointers. I don't know whether you've got detailed and understanding of each segment. I will send you more videos, probably that will help. And as a commitment, what I've also said is any question that you have, which are specific to your business or otherwise, you can send it to the team. They will send all of the questions to me and I will record the videos and I'll send it back to all of you so that you can learn from. As a continuation process, you can learn from that as well, because in a shorter version, this is the maximum simplification I can do of whatever I've learned in last 10 years. Simplified that into 2 hours kind of a session is the maximum that I can do for this section. Yeah, open for questions, please.
That was super comprehensive. There are a few questions, and we do have a little bit more time, so I'll direct a couple of the more general, broader questions to you, and then we have a couple of participants who want to ask. So one is that, what aspects of this will be relevant or useful, or will all of it be relevant or useful if your target group is farming communities in rural areas? I thought that's more broad based, so maybe you have an example, or just how do you think this will apply? Will it change in any way?
No, again, the audience will change. Like when you go to rural India, many a times reaching out to your real customers becomes a difficult. So in those cases, what we had done was we created digital bandhus kind of a concept where we reached out to people and made them our affiliates to go to the rural places and bring us more customers. So instead of going to each customer at one point in time, you go to the tech savvy people there and they will bring rest of the people. So focus on affiliate marketing referral programs for because they're always looking for some kind of revenue models and things like that. So that works really good in the rural market. So instead of going to direct customers, go to the people who can influence the purchase. That will be good for rural market.
And just one more question on the messaging, which you talked about earlier, again, more from B2B businesses. Does emotional or informational messaging work better? How do you kind of create that human touch when you're running digital ads, when you're not actually able to meet people and things like that? Any thoughts around that?
So when you look at the communication part of it, functional and emotional part of it, so if you really know that customers are challenged at this particular level, and if you have identified it, that this is a real pain point, identifying that real pain point takes a lot of time. And a lot of, it's a boring job. If I tell you, creating a campaign is a very interesting job. I keep telling my team, you should be paying me for creating the campaign because that's so interesting and exciting. But real hard work is doing this research. What is the real pain point? But if you have identified the real pain point, creating the direct advertisement will be very effective. But if you have not identified the pain point, then you need a lot of emotional touch, emotional and etc. But the customers know what they are buying, right? It's difficult to convince them otherwise, and it takes a lot of time. Though in B2C and in B2B, majority of the purchases are influenced emotionally. But still the functional part of it and rational part of it will always, if you have a strong point there, it's easy to scale. But if it is emotional, the emotions keep changing. The rationals does not change that easily. So I will obviously say that focus on the rational and the functional part of it as much as possible. And then emotional, you can create. Emotional is more about artistic way of presenting it. There you need to find interesting way of presenting it. And that's not easy, that one will be better than the others, keep on doing experiments. So the way we do it is we create a list of 20, 30 emotional campaigns for a year, all together, like 20, 25. And out of that, we will select We have a voting inside the company, which one do you like and etc. We show it to the client. So based out of that, we will take say 10, 15 and we'll run most of it in parallel and with an experimentation and see what is the engagement rate that we are getting. Whichever is giving us good engagement rate, out of that we will select 5 or 6 and we will run that throughout the year at different time period, because it is not easy to judge which one will work and which will not work.
Okay, thank you. We have one question about budget. I think we may need to make that our last one. Sahil, go ahead.
I'm very thankful to be the last question. So Ajay, I thought I had a pretty mature understanding of digital marketing, and then I realized that there's so much I did not know about. So thanks for the great session. So I am in a very niche industrial sales kind of business, and usually our average purchase size, it starts off at like $10,000-$20,000 for a new client, and over the lifetime this can go into hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, right? It's very difficult to say, and our conversion cycles can be anything from like 3 months at the lower end to a year, 2 years on the higher end. And actually I started focusing more on SEO over the last many years, and now we're doing fantastic on SEO, and I did not really focus on paid, and I'll explain why, and I would love an answer to this problem that I'm having. So when I run paid campaigns, and you know what you were talking about, having my cost of acquisition being 10 to 15% of a of the customer, like the order size, right? So like if I'm talking about a $20,000 order where it usually starts from, that's about 15 lakhs. That's about $1.5 to 3 lakhs that I would probably be my customer acquisition cost, which I'm okay with. And it does make sense to me on a logical sense. But the thing is, when I'm running these ads, and I put a budget of 10,000 or a lakh, then the problem I start having is that my lead generation, my conversion is still pretty low. And then I don't want to start risking, you know, like 10 lakhs, 15, 20 lakhs for a single campaign in order to find that that sweet spot where I'm able to convert. I hope that kind of makes sense.
Right.
And so actually, sorry, a kind of related thing to this is that when I'm trying to justify to my board on the efforts that we're doing on digital marketing, I'm able to show like our SEO numbers, like, oh, I'm getting millions of impressions, like, okay, that's fantastic. But with the performance, it's like, because of these long conversion cycles, it's still it's very difficult for me to kind of justify the ROIs. So just kind of thoughts on that would be great.
Yeah. So, you know, there is no alternative for paid advertisement, because paid advertisement, first of all, what is the difference between SEO and paid is SEO is very broad. You don't have so much of targeting available apart from which keywords the people are coming on. But on advertisement, I have so much of control that I can focus on the location, I can focus on the profile, I can focus on certain industries also, and saying that I want to show this advertisement to this industry, even on the Google level, because there are a lot of B2B level targeting which is possible within search. In last 3 years, Google has done that. So after that, if people are coming at a certain cost, so you know that even if from SEO those people are coming in, the cost of my, you know, whatever investment that you have done is bringing you that kind of a result. But after that, if people are not converting, so you don't focus too much money on putting advertisement to bring more people, but spend say 50,000, 1 lakh rupees to continue to bring the best audience. Because now from SEO, you will have a fair idea that which pages, landing pages are bringing the maximum traffic to convert, because SEO does not give you the keywords on Google Analytics and etc., because Google has stopped doing that. But you will get a fair idea that what type of customers are converting. So accordingly, what you do is just focus on bringing those customers and improve your landing page. Invest a lot of time on landing page, improve your conversion and improve the full tracking, full funnel tracking. So once you have the full funnel tracking, you will know where exactly is the drop happening and accordingly improvise it. And once you improvise it, there is a chance that when you improvise this, your SEO traffic and conversion will also increase. Generally in the SEO, you will see 1%, 2% conversion rate, whereas in PPC, you will be able to see 3% to 6% conversion rate. So your conversion rate will be, you know, higher in PPC in general, because you have a lot of control over there. But once you optimize it, improve your SEO. Just imagine if your, you know, conversion rate from SEO doubles because of that. That's equivalent to getting double the traffic. Why will you not do that? Okay, so that's what I will say, that PPC you should certainly do, but not for scaling, but for improving your conversion and improving the unit metrics and then scaling. And that will also impact your organic growth as well.
So just to clarify, what you're saying is focus on optimizing my landing pages for now, and that is where, and then spend on the on PPCs. Okay, that's
improve your unit metrics from benchmarking and etc. before scaling it up. So don't use PPC for scaling. Use that for all of you. Starting is benchmarking and improving your unit metrics, and then comes the scale. And that's no alternative, and that should be done because that is a very, very important part of it. Why are people not converting? And sometimes it's not possible to convert. For example, when I run some, I'll give you an example from a TMT bar perspective. So we were working with one of the TMT bar companies. If I put advertisement for Tata Discount, people will click on it, people will fill up the lead, but people who want Tata Discount only buys Tata Discount. Okay. But if I'm putting advertisement for Jindal, TMT, and etc., if they fill up the form, we are able to convert 80-90% of the people who are filling up the form. So that means I know Tata Discount, it will not work. So even if I improve landing page, etc., it's very difficult to work. Do I want to work on this? It's a business call. But Jindal and etc., I'm able to convert. So within that, there are pockets which are converting, which are not converting. So you need to look at that pocket, and full funnel KPI is something that all of you should do. So that will give you amazing clarity on where the drop is actually happening, rather than saying my PPC is not working or LinkedIn is not working and etc.
Super. We're almost at time, but I just want to ask everyone to just stay on for 5 more minutes because I have some announcements to share at the end, which will be relevant to the rest of what's happening. But before that, thank you so much, Aji. You have this was so informative. You obviously would not have been able to see all of the comments on chat, but people have really appreciated how I think it was not just that it had a lot of information, but it was all very relevant. And I think the important thing that for us always works with the companies and the program is to give, we don't have all the answers, but to be able to give people a starting point. So using the framework and like what all do we need to think about, I think that has been like super it's been just so good to see that. What I've understood is that much like the funnel you talked about today, this is actually an iceberg and we have seen the surface. And this is one of those topics where I think there is a lot of room for constant learning. So two things. One is that Aji has actually agreed to respond to questions later on. So we have tracked some questions that have not been answered, but he will share responses to that later on. He's also shared an excellent pre-read. There's this document with so many links and articles about a lot of the topics that he's covered that you can go back. So now that you have a frame of reference, you can actually go back to that and have a look at that and go a little deeper into it. Thank you, Aji. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of all of us, all of our participants and us as well. Thank you once again for doing this, running this session for us. Good luck to everybody with planning and refining your digital journey from this moment on. It's going to be very relevant, not just in the next next few months and what we're working on, but of course more long term. Speaking of what's coming up, back to STP business. We have a T studio coming up, which will be your third transformation studio for the program. If you remember, the format is similar to the previous times. We have now covered a whole bunch of concepts. We are now asking you to go back to your company and apply those concepts to your company. What those concepts are, this segment is basically we're now focusing on, this is the end game, right? Like we are in the second part of the program now. And all these topics are key in terms of developing your transformation plan and your growth strategy for the future. We talked about customer segments, persona, competitive landscape, market opportunity, targeting, positioning. How does that connect to your ambitious goals and your growth options? And in order to get these people, get these customers and to grow, what does your customer journey map, your go-to-market, sales funnel, all of that look like? This is all familiar. We've covered all of this. All of this actually needs to be in place by the end of part 3, which is where we are right now. What will happen in the T studio is that we have June. So we need you to book your, so how do you tackle all of this? What is the best way to get through the next 6 weeks? Book your transformation studio slot right away. All of your BTAs have their slots online, so you can book your slot. This needs to be completed by June 30th. To prepare for this, go through your business leader guide. Choose a maximum of 2 topics for a detailed discussion in the studio itself. You will work with your respective BTAs on this. It doesn't mean that the other segment is not important. It just means that what do you want to use this T Studio for, to get into more detail. As always, be well prepared on the chosen topics. Use this opportunity to get buy-in from your team. So this is for everybody. We have a lot of team members on as well. So the team needs to own this, build this, be a part of it, really push everyone to have very critical conversations in the studio. As always, quality of pre-work is directly proportional to the T Studio effectiveness. So the better the pre-work, the more effort you put into it right now, you will actually see those outcomes. And please do submit your pre-work at least 3 days before your studio date. Just some things to keep in mind. We have a couple of more minutes if anyone has any questions about the T Studio specifically, but I'm going to let Aji go. Aji, thank you again, once again, so much for joining us today and for taking us through all of this amazing information and, actually breaking this down for us in terms of how to plan this. If there are any questions about the T Studio, please do stay on for a couple of minutes and, I'm happy to answer those questions. But otherwise, thank you everybody for taking 2 hours out on a Thursday to be with us. And good luck, and we'll see you again soon.